aspects of Islam, right, are accessible to the ordinary Muslim, right? The majority of the Quran has got nothing to do with law, has got nothing to do with complex theology. Yeah? Usually people kind of use the whole authority card and say, oh, this is a scholarly issue, because they think that it could confuse people, right? It's true, but it's true of a very small but disproportionately propagated part of the religion. So a small part of our deen, right, can be quite confusing because of the way in which our theology has evolved over time. It's not because it was confusing from the outset. It's because various ideologies challenged aspects of our belief system, and those challenges were responded to, and that conversation, that dialogue between the two groups resulted in the development of quite complex theological discussions, right? That go into different aspects of logic, aspects of philosophy, etc., which can go over people's heads sometimes, right? It's just not everybody's cup of tea, right? So there's that. So there's these theological issues on the one hand, where a person might read something that is a piece of Mu'tazili theology, and they might think, oh, this makes sense, right? When actually it's declared by the majority of the ummah as deviation. I'll give you a very simple example of that. The Mu'tazilites believe that mankind has agency to create his own actions, right? Meaning that when we act, our actions are our own. Our actions are our own. Not only are they our own in that we are accountable for them, and therefore we are our own, right? Which makes sense to all of us. We all believe that we're accountable for our actions. So this is where it becomes a piece of subtle, complex theology, but a point of deviation. They also believe that mankind is the creator of that action, meaning we create that action. Now, on the face of it, what's the big deal? Right? I've done this act, that this thing has come in, this act of me lifting this flask up has come into existence because of my doing. Therefore, I created it, right? Now, most people wouldn't think that's a big issue. So you read that, you think, yeah, that's rational. Okay. And it's there that there are it's in the odd kind of theological issue that's, the Sahaba probably never even discussed this, right? But it came up, and it so happens that this statement goes against the clear, apparent meaning of a verse of the Quran, right? Where Allah says, "Wallahu khalaqakum wa ma ta'malun," that Allah created you and what you do, and for the Mu'tazilites that becomes a big issue, right? So the ummah, so the ulama, the moment the Mu'tazilites say this, the ulama seek clarification, and they say, yeah, this is our doctrine, we believe in this, we believe we create our own actions. How can we not? How else can we rationalize? Oh, sorry, Baba. So sit down, sit here. How can we not? How can it be that we don't create our own actions, right? How else can this be rationalized? And the ulama turned up and they said, hang on a second, we're going to forget about rationalizations here. Allah says, Wallahu khalaqakum wa ma ta'malun. That's what we believe first. We don't care about rationalizations. But then, faced with the challenge of rationalizing, the ulama did then provide a rationalization for the verse of the Quran that is workable, right? That works, that broke the idea of the Mu'tazila that their position was rational or more rational. So it's these types of subtleties that people sometimes can fall into when they read things, and they just, without realizing, just say, and I come across this all the time, especially people who read a lot, they're just saying stuff and they're like, yeah, and this, and it's like this and it's like that, and before they realize it, they're agreeing with Mu'tazili positions and so on and so forth. And you're like, hang on a second, you can't, like, are you conscious? If you're consciously, knowingly saying this and you agree with the Mu'tazilites, fair enough, but do you realize that this is actually this was a big This was a big issue once upon a time. So that's one example. The other example is matters of jurisprudence. Matters of jurisprudence where there have been difference of opinion, etc., etc. But all in all, overall, if your reading isn't around these types of issues, right? It's around things that are less contentious or more to do with, I don't know, fada'il, more to do with spirituality and so on and so forth. I mean, that's the majority of the deen. Go ahead.